Welcome to This Explainer. Today, we're mapping out the vibrant and honestly pretty challenging journey that migrants take to build a brand new life in Australia. Whether people are arriving for a job, to reunite with family, for education, or to seek humanitarian protection, they're bringing incredible skills and rich cultures that completely revitalize our communities. So let's dive into exactly what it takes to transition from being a brand new arrival to a truly connected member of Australian society.
First things first, we need to talk about what this initial adjustment period actually is. It's formally known as settlement. Under the Australian government's National Settlement Framework, this generally covers your first 5 years after arriving permanently. But here's the thing, it's not just some finish line you suddenly cross. It's an ongoing, complex, and sometimes messy process of working toward genuine independence and community participation. So, we're gonna walk through the roadmap of this journey today, hitting 6 key areas. Arriving in Australia, housing and health, learning English and education, finding employment, the power of community, and finally, multicultural belonging.
All right, Section 1, arriving in Australia. Let's look at the immediate, boots-on-the-ground reality of touching down in a completely new country.
Now, you might be thinking everyone's path is totally unique, and you'd be right, but there is definitely a general continuum here, kind of like stepping stones. Some folks might settle in right away. Others, well, depending on their family situation, what they've been through previously, or their financial security, they might need years of support to navigate through these different phases. Just imagine the heavy cognitive load for a second. You step off the plane, and you immediately have to juggle all these practical tasks at exactly the same time. You've got to find a place to sleep, figure out how to open a bank account, decode the local public transport, all while dealing with culture shock. It's a lot. And for humanitarian entrants, Australia actually steps in right at the airport, providing intensive initial support and short-term housing to help manage this massive, overwhelming checklist. Moving right along to Section 2, housing, health, and well-being. This is where we look at how migrants secure their most basic physical needs. Finding safe, affordable housing is pretty much hurdle number 1. I mean, transitioning from temporary accommodation to a real long-term home means you have to rapidly learn the quirks of Australian household bills, local banking, and, let's be real, the intense maze of rental applications and agreements. It's an incredibly steep learning curve, which is exactly why the government flags it as a top settlement priority. And right alongside a roof over your head is your health. New arrivals have to figure out how Australia's health system works from scratch. Plus, we absolutely have to acknowledge that for humanitarian entrants who might have experienced displacement or severe trauma, specialized intensive support isn't just helpful, it's absolutely crucial for their long-term physical and mental well-being.
Okay, Section 3, learning English and education. This is the stage where the doors to Australian society really start flying open.
Navigating a new country when you don't speak the language is incredibly tough, so the Australian government tries to smash that barrier early on. Enter the Adult Migrant English Program, or AMAP for short. This is an awesome program providing free English language tuition to eligible migrants. It helps people talk to employers, use government services, and honestly, just make friends. They even offer flexible learning and free childcare for face-to-face classes, which is an absolute game changer for parents.
But it goes way beyond just English. Hooking into the local education system empowers the whole family. You've got parents figuring out primary schools for the kids, while adults might be exploring vocational training to upskill, or figuring out how to adapt the degrees they already earned overseas so they perfectly match what the Australian job market is looking for. Which leads us perfectly into Section 4, finding employment and independence. Landing that first meaningful job is a massive, massive milestone. We all know migrants bring incredible talent and fresh perspectives to the economy. But we've also got to be realistic about the steep barriers they run into. Things like a lack of local Australian work experience, the headache of getting overseas qualifications officially recognized, or just trying to decode the unspoken rules of a new workplace culture. It can make finding a job in their actual profession pretty tough. Because those hurdles are so real, settlement programs put a huge focus on employment pathways. And why does this matter so much? Well, a job provides way more than just a paycheck. It gives you financial independence, sure, but it also builds your personal confidence and creates these profound, vital social connections. It lets people use their skills and truly feel like they belong.
So let's talk about Section 5, the power of community. Because the reality is, nobody should have to navigate this crazy journey alone. Behind the scenes, it's like a giant puzzle coming together. Under the National Settlement Framework, all 3 levels of government, Commonwealth, state and territory, and local, are teaming up. You've got high-level funding and language programs up top, mainstream services like schools in the middle, all the way down to grassroots community festivals and local engagement at the bottom. It's a coordinated safety net designed to make the transition as smooth as possible.
A brilliant example of this safety net in action is the SETS program, that stands for Settlement, Engagement, and Transition Support. SETS steps in right during that vulnerable post-arrival period, specifically for people who don't have family or friends here to lean on. It empowers them to tackle their own settlement needs, focusing heavily on getting them socially active and economically independent.
And finally, we arrive at Section 6, embracing multicultural belonging. This is the ultimate goal of the whole shebang.
Here's the really beautiful thing about it. Successful settlement in Australia doesn't mean leaving who you are at the door. Not at all. A migrant can and absolutely should maintain their cultural identity, their language, traditions, food, you name it, while simultaneously jumping right into Australian society through jobs, local connections, and civic duties.
It really boils down to this one simple, powerful equation. Maintaining your cultural identity plus participating in Australian society equals multicultural belonging. Experiencing both of these things at the exact same time is what makes our community so incredibly resilient. It builds cultural understanding, mutual respect, and rock-solid social cohesion across the country.
Ultimately, the success of this migrant journey doesn't just rest on the new arrivals. It relies on all of us. The end goal isn't just for someone to live here, but to truly belong. So I want to leave you with this question to chew on. How can you, in your everyday life, help build a welcoming, inclusive environment for our newest neighbors? Thanks so much for hanging out with me for this explainer.